first. Okay, I think hopefully we're recording. So, Savala Schultz is joining me, Rosie Berriesa. I'm so glad that you have the videos already so that you can have the training video that really works a little bit more information for this, for these two forms. This is the final session, the final live session for the new full moon practices for Sustain the Flame. Today I just want to say that the full moon, and you guys can sit down if you feel like it, the full moon is in Leo, and there's also a lunar eclipse, and that's a very potent thing for this particular launching of 2017. I know that we're in February, so it's like, what do you mean? We're way past that. At the same time, there is a certain level, this particular moon cycle is like a gateway. And I actually wrote some notes about it, so I'm going to just look at my notes and read them to you. It's basically that eclipses, which we're in now, a lunar eclipse, and by the way, the full moon is at 4 o'clock Pacific time, so 7 o'clock for you, Connie, in the East Coast. It acts like a doorway into different energy paths and are powerful enough to transform, shift, and change the direction and flow of your life. So if you can imagine that the energy of the eclipse is like a universal hand that reaches down from the heavens and puts you where you need to be. It may not be a place that you think you want it to be, but it's definitely where you need to be. And the good thing is that with eclipses, you can usually really trust the direction that it takes you in. Given that it's a full moon in Leo, it's going to be kind of like fiery ending. Energy pushes things along, but so it can be things can feel kind of abrupt with this particular configuration. But so I guess I think what I want to say is something needs to be gone. It's going to be gone. Things are getting cleared out or getting burned away that you don't need to have. I heard Rosie make a little sound back there. I'm like, oh, okay then. The other thing, and this is the other thing I wrote down because it's something I'm not familiar with, but one of the things I was researching is that right now the moon is making something called a sacred pentagram pattern with other planets, and it's very rare for celestial bodies to arrange themselves in the shape of a pentagram or a star, but it indicates luck, harmony, and divine synchronicity. So we've got this sort of abrupt, fiery moon happening, and at the same time, we've got this divine synchronicity and harmony happening. So we'll have the tools that we need to move forward in 2017 with a sense of confidence, really, and a fresh perspective. So yay for that. And again, remember, you can always unmute yourself and just press your unmute button if you have a question or comment. Otherwise, what I'd like to do is I'd like to just go ahead and begin these two. Now, a reminder that the 3 gates of enlightenment is best done any time you feel like you're wanting to really empower yourself and align your energy. It's very much of a, kind of like going down to the grist of what it is that allows your energy to move in the direction you want it to. You can do it pretty much any day, any time. It works really well. It pairs really well with the crystal generator. So I like to do them together. Crystal generator, I'm a little bit more, I want to say, selective about when I do it. I would recommend doing it on the new and full moons. I recommend that you think, given it's the full moon, think back in the last couple of weeks of what your intention was with the new moon and where you are now. Just take a moment to notice that and know that this is going to be a burning away of all of the things that you were letting go. Crystal generator is a very potent form. This is something I never mean to scare people with this, and it's not a scary thing. You can't do yourself damage, but it's really like taking too much of a detox or something like that. You can actually, if you do crystal generator every day, which I did myself when I was first learning it, and then for about a year I was doing it a lot, it ended up pretty much accelerating things so much that it felt like it burned my circuit. So I really encourage you to just use it selectively. It doesn't mean you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it today because I did it yesterday. Don't get too rigid about that, but just be aware of using it with a lot of intention. When you're very first learning it, it's fine to do it several times because you're just learning the practice. But when you really know the form and you start really practicing it and you're really deep into the intention of the form, then you want to be, again, more selective. Okay, so with all of that stern turn this. I'm ready to now go into the fun of doing the Qigong together. So I'm asking my two buddies here to join me. We're going to stand up and we're going to start with the 3 gates of enlightenment. All right. So, do you have room? Mm-hmm. All right. So, you're going to stand with your feet hip distance apart, and I'm going to ask you to stand with a yang stance today. So, what I'd like you to do is have your feet parallel and soften your knees and drop your tailbone down towards the ground and lift your crown. Now, I'm having us do a yang stance. Sometimes we do this in a yin stance, sometimes in a yang stance, and the yin stance with your feet are slightly open. Today, given that we're in this full moon eclipse, given that it's all about, this sort of fiery energy, we want to stay very clear that we're on course. So I'd like you to just take a moment to put your hands on your lower dantian, place the left over the right, breathe, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what feels like the kind of the essence of what you want to feed in yourself with these 2 forms today? Now, I know, Roxanne, you've been doing some work with transition, and you have too, Connie. Both of you have done some deep work with transition, and then others, Elke and other people who may be watching this video, I'd like you just to invite yourself about what may be creating a shift or a change in you right now, and to maybe settle in on that and really look at what is it that's burning away? What is it that's coming forward with this particular configuration of divine harmony? In fact, if either of you want to unmute yourself, or if either of you want to say something about where you're at, I'd love to take a moment to share that before we actually do the Qigong, just so that we set that intention. So, do you have something that either of you would say around where you want to set your intention for today?
For me, I'm stepping into something that is really old and new simultaneously. It's coming back and moving into.
Right. And is that with your storytelling?
Yes.
Oh, good. Yes. She's an amazing performer and coming into a whole nother level with her storytelling. And what about you, Rosie?
I'd say this is point of synthesis. Everything I have known, I'm reevaluating what works. I take with me what doesn't work is pretty much the same, just falling to the wayside. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it requires some examination before I just let it go. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Beautiful. So it's a discernment process. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then Connie or Roxanne, you can unmute yourself if there's something that you'd like to say about your own intention.
Vicki, this is Connie.
Yes.
My intention is to continue to speak my truth, but to do it in a way that doesn't hurt me. So being selective, not only with my words, but with my timing and with the absence or presence of actually speaking, which is something that, I've been so, in the last few years, I've been so keen on hearing my own voice and letting people know what it's saying that I've been ignoring the listener a bit. So that's what I'm doing.
That's so discerning. It's beautiful, Connie, and it's a perfect time to do that with the full moon in Leo, because that's all about how you express yourself. So it's great to do. Looks like Jabba's going to join us. Okay, so, and Roxanne, did you have anything that you wanted to contribute or say? You don't have to, but you're welcome.
I do.
Could you speak a little louder?
Yes. I was rereading my notes from when I went to Sustain the Flame that first time in December, and the Nourish the Flame, sorry. And,
yes.
You had prompted us by asking, I forget or ignore my wisdom and passion when I.
Yes.
And I, like my essence thing is I want to manage my energy better, and that goes astray when I get into comparing, or
I call it the compare despair syndrome. Yeah.
If I don't take care of my body.
Yes.
I think that Qigong is one way that helps me to bring it back around, and I'm really focusing more on my diet. But the piece that's harder for me to focus on is how not to do the comparing and how to stay with what is true for my own present circumstances, not relative to the universe. But that is what would probably provide quite a bit more freedom and space inside, which is what I want.
I love that, Roxanne. And I encourage you to, I think that compare thing kind of tends to happen for us, whether, it's not something we can necessarily control, but what we can do is redirect focus. And so I really love that that's what your intention is, to help really bolster your own sense of your incredible self. I mean, you do incredible work in the world. So to really be able to own that and keep your focus on what that is about, both in terms of how you nourish yourself, because I know that's an issue, but also how you bring nourishment from a place of true heart. So I love that too. So thank you so much, both of you, for speaking. Let's go ahead and as they say in Star Trek, make it so. So let's start with the hands coming back behind you. Circle your wrists, and we're going to activate your wisdom. Your hands are coming to about forehead level. You're going to see if you can feel that little bit of a buzz between your fingertips. In fact, move your hands back and forth a little, see if you can feel the connection. If you can't, this is not part of the form, but it's just part of the preparation for this posture. You tap your fingertips together and then bring your hands back and move your hands back and forth. See if you can feel, it's almost like a little static electricity feeling. That's activating wisdom. Now, shoulder blades are going to be down. So your elbows are not up like this, they're down, and your jaw is relaxed. Then we're going to bring the hands down, come up, and hands are now facing your face, and you want to have your hands, again, let's do a little bit of preparatory stuff where you're going to just move your hands in and out this way. And as you do that, I'd like you to notice is there's a place where you lock in with your jade pillow, which is the nape of your neck, the base of your skull, top of your neck. So move your hands back and forth, and at some point you're going to feel like, there's this triangle of energy, and that's the container for your wisdom. The first part here was activate, this is containing, and then you're going to release anything that doesn't contribute to your wisdom. All those naysayers, internal and external, let them go, which is part of that compare thing that Roxanne was bringing up. So as you come back up now, we're going to make space to hear ourselves think, hear ourselves know, hear our own wisdom, hear our own guidance. Then bring your hands back behind you, circle those wrists, and then fingertips come right in front about the throat. So this is right between the heart and the throat. So it's the same thing. You're still listening for this buzz between the fingertips. Your shoulders are down, elbows are down. See that you can feel the clavicles smiling. So there's a width across your collarbones. Then drop your hands down, and your hands come here, and it's almost like you're making a little bit of a roof over your heart. And then we're going to release, and that's the gate of joy. So this is all in the gate of joy. So you're releasing whatever doesn't contribute to your joy, and then you're going to make space to know that joy is your birthright. You knew that as a baby, if it wasn't stolen through neglect or abuse. You knew that sense of being able to seize your life with full passion. Okay, so arms come back behind you, circle those wrists, and then the hands point down towards the ground. So you're going to hang all the way down as far as you can. I'm going to stay up here so I can talk to you. But you can point those fingers down, and you're going to bring energy up your legs as you inhale, and as you exhale, down through the top of your head, down through your hands into the earth. Now as you inhale, you're going to bring your arms forward, so you're going into kind of a flat back, and then come all the way up. Very nice. And then exhale, come down. And that was your gate of wealth or health or sense of abundance and empowerment. So here, anything that would interrupt that, you're making space for you to know your own grounding, to know your own value, to feel like you are allowed to have what you have. So inhale, we're going to go through the form again. Exhale, activating your gate of wisdom. No breath for 3, 2, 1. Then inhale, and we're going to hold our breath for 9 counts. And then exhale, releasing what does not contribute to your wisdom, letting it go. Then inhale, drawing up the foundation to support and protect that wisdom. And protect really means give space to, be able to hear your guidance, be able to tap into that higher self And then we're going to inhale. We're drawing here from the past anything that informs our heart, our joy. And then we're going to activate the joy. Wake it up. No breath for 3 counts. And then inhale. And hold your breath for 9 counts. Shoulders relaxed. And you're containing your joy. You're letting yourself really let it land in you. Then we're going to exhale, let go of anything that tells you that you are not somehow entitled to your own joy. I know that's a big buzzword, but I mean it. You deserve your joy. Inhaling up and exhaling, making space for that joy to flourish. Inhale, circle those wrists. Exhale, hang down. And inhale, up your legs, so up the legs. Exhale, down your back and arms, down into the earth. Then as you inhale, your arms float forward and you come up all the way, and then exhale, down. Now, of course, with that last move, if you need to modify it for your body, please don't forget to do that. So as you inhale, we're here. This is the gate of abundance, of wealth, and of health, of empowerment. Stand here, feel your feet on the ground, feel your crown up towards the sky, feel the power of who you are on this beautiful day. Okay, inhale and circle from the past, anything that informs your wisdom. Exhale here and hold yourself without breath for 3. Then inhale and hold your breath for 9, containing your wisdom. Exhale, releasing what does not contribute to that wisdom. Inhale, up. Exhale, making space for that wisdom to live in you day to day. Inhale, reaching back from the past, anything that informs your joy. Exhale, activating your joy for 3 counts, no breath. Inhale. Hold your breath for 9, containing your joy. And when I say containing it, I mean creating a container for it, holding it in your body, not leashing it. Then exhale, releasing anything that doesn't contribute to your joy down to earth, where it can compost. Then inhale, drawing up the strength from the earth to exhale. Protect your joy. Understand it to be your birthright. Then inhale, scooping back anything that informs your sense of inner power. Exhale, down your gate of wealth, health, abundance, and empowerment. Inhale, up your legs. Exhale, down your hands, down into the earth. We're creating a loop with the earth here. Then as you inhale, hands come up and your body comes up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale, protect that earth realm. And hands come down. Now, when you practice this on your own, you're welcome to hold that earth place, so that breath of circling the breath 3 to 9 times even, depending on your back. Just today for efficiency, just doing it 1 time. And 1 time is fine. That will do it. If you want to do it a little longer, you can do 3, 6, or 9 times. Okay, good. So let's go into, let me ask you first, is there any question from anybody about the 3 gates? Unmute yourself if there is. Okay.
I have two quick questions, of course, right? I have 2 quick questions. Number 1.
I was like, where's Connie?
I'm here.
So glad.
Okay, so on the gate of wisdom, could you just stand to the side for a moment so I can see how far out your hands are? All right, so they're pretty far out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They're not in like this. Yes.
They're in front of your eyes. They're not, your arms aren't bent. They're really out there. Your arms are straight.
Space your armpits. Think of it as space.
Okay. The second question is, I noticed sometimes your fingers were spread and sometimes you were consciously maybe putting them back together. Does it matter?
No, you don't want them clenched. I'm
Yep.
actually in something called dragon hand, which I don't want to actually get into right now. But no, you don't want them clenched, but they're basically together. It doesn't really matter. It's never been prescribed anywhere that I've studied it. So I don't worry about it. Basically what I want to do, and why you might see a difference in me sometimes, is because I'm looking to feel the chi flow through each fingertip. And so that's
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions. I think they're so clarifying. Okay, let's have a seat. This is so fun having the two of you here.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes.
All right, so you're going to sit with your right hand underneath your left. And a lot of times I'll sit legs crossed, but because of wanting you to be able to see us clearly, and maybe what I'll do is just tilt this down a little bit more, is that you can do it anyhow way you want to, is what I'm really saying. You can sit on the floor with your legs crossed if your body permits. You can sit on a chair, legs crossed if your body permits. You can sit just like this. You can even do this lying down on your back. I've done that with somebody as she was passing over. So we're going to have right hand underneath the left, the back of the left knuckles underneath, right on the inside knuckles of the right. And we're going to just take a moment to relax the jaw, relax the space between the eyebrows. We're just going to go through this form one time. So we're going to let the shoulders come down and back. We're going to widen the space between the shoulders, let your clavicles smile. And we're going to focus on your breath. Okay, and we're going to send that breath down into the hands. Now, I'm not doing a lot of intro into the crystal generator because you have, been doing it for a while, at least most of you. So what I'd like to just remind you simply that you're creating a crystal type of energy in your whole body, so you become like a crystal, able to draw in, and like with the law of attraction, draw in the resources that will help you, and refract that as varying colors of light so that you become like a rainbow producer. So, and when we read that with intention, what we're really looking at is how can we become literal carriers of whatever that particular intention is. So right hand under the left, we're going to breathe 10 times into your hands. So exhaling into your hands, and you're going to just see if you can heat your hands. That's 2. And as you do this, I encourage you to do 6 direction breathing if you can, comfortably, letting your abdomen swell like a balloon as you inhale, and then just relax as you exhale. So again, that was 4. And then sending breath down from your lungs, down your arms into your hands. 5. And 5 more times. Okay, that should be about 5. If it's 9 instead of 10, that's also fine. So we're going to lift the one hand up the center line of the body and then out. That was the left hand. The right hand followed. And this symbolizes yin and yang, our willingness to be with the whole cycle of expansion and contraction that the crystal generator brings. Then we're going to bring the hands out and let the outside edges of the hands rest in the crook of your hips, between your hips and your thighs, and breathe. And we're basically preparing the ground here for shift to happen, to be able to contain the energy that the crystal generator creates, to be able to contain it, hold it. So like preparing a campfire, you're clearing the ground of the sticks and twigs, and you're just letting yourself really open up space here. Then you take your hands, place them on your back, and your fingertips are pointing up towards your base of up towards the base of your skull. And what we're doing here is we're building the structure of a fire, placing the sticks and twigs so that you're building like a little, I guess like a kind of a teepee or type of shape going up. And just preparing the spine to distribute, the central nervous system to distribute information in your life and in your body. Then bring your hands to your at either side of your belly button, fingers pointing down towards your genitals, because this is where we're really activating that fire. We're opening up that fire. We're turning it on. In fact, you want to squeeze and release the muscles of your pelvic floor a few times. You want to activate sexual energy, heat in that lower dantian. Okay, so that we've basically held a match to the kindling. Then we start with the left hand, and it's going to come around, and you're drawing in from all around you anything that nourishes you. That's one. And then the other side. Now, I think one of the things I worked with the last time we met was being able to really turn a little bit in the spine so that as you do the movement, you're continuing that action in the central nervous system. This twisting motion just continues to activate the chi. And you want to imagine as you do this, as you nourish your flame, you're going to imagine that there's a pot of water sitting on that fire, on that campfire, and you want it to begin to boil. So we're building through the flame to the point where the water begins to boil. And we don't want to make it boil so hot that it spills over and puts the fire out, but we do want to be building up a pretty good head of steam here. So this is a transformative or alchemical form using the elements of balancing fire and water. Very good thing to do, I think, these days. One more time. So here we go. So that we started with the left hand, we're finishing with the right hand. Then your palms are going to turn up and you raise the chi up. Bring your hands forward like you're piercing through that steam, right? That veil of steam that you've created, and you're opening up so that you're opening up your own visibility, your own ability to be seen. Relax your elbows, relax your shoulders, stretch your fingertips, particularly your middle finger. And you're going to take your right hand and brush by the left side of your face as though you're taking any projections away from you, right? So now we have one hand up, one hand down. The left hand comes, and as it pushes by the right, we're going to turn that other hand. Jump, come here. Good girl. All right, same thing. As your hand comes by your jaw, that left hand is going to turn up and you're brushing by. So this is the second round here. Now you might notice that we started with the right hand. So when you do the brushing, it's the right hand that initiates. When you feed the fire, it's the left hand. When we do this movement, it's again, there's ways in which we may project out about ourselves, things that we project out about ourselves, or ways in which others project stuff on us. And this is basically using the steam from the fire to really cleanse that. It's almost like taking away any mask, any clay mask that you might have on your face, just taking it away. So it softens it. I think this is the sixth round. So when you do it, it's almost like you're dropping that clay down into the earth. The other hand turns up in order to be able to hold light and bring that light or enlightenment into your awareness. And that's part of, what is to be enlightened is also to stay very authentic with how you are, who you are. Be very, it's not just about being, blissed out or something like that. It's really staying very present with you. And so this form really helps you do that in a way that's public, in a way that's visible. Okay, so I think that was about 9 times, and we're going to turn the palms up towards the sky. And you notice I'm not very rigid about the numbers. I like to do it in my practice on myself, but it's not super important. So don't get too rigid about this. You're holding, and I know your arms probably hurt by now. We're going to raise the chi way up, and then we lace the fingers and press the palm heels together. Now the fingers are going to stay very light and loose. The palm heels are pressing together fairly vigorously. It's hard. And so that represents the foundation. Your fingers represent your mind. So again, it's about not being too rigid with your mind, but at the same time having a solid foundation underneath that. And you're going to hold this for 36 counts. When I first learned this, I held it for 36 breaths, which I have to say was pretty excruciating for a while, at least until I got stronger. You don't need to hold it for 36 breaths. You can count fairly rapidly. So we're at about 20 now. Breathe, shoulders are down, press those palm heels together. Okay, good. Then we're going to bring the hands down in front of your throat. Press those palm heels together. This is all about taking that authenticity, that sense of becoming like a crystal when your hands are on top of you. It's like turtleted crystal. And then here it's about really letting that crystal express. This is where you are expressing the rainbow of who you are. And that generally you hold for 18 counts. And then the right hand comes over the left, and you're going to put that to the lower dantian, and you can hold that 9 counts. So you're containing, the right hand's on top, so we're containing that energy so that we are able to hold this crystal energy throughout the day and into tomorrow as we go into this transition of this eclipse of the full moon in Leo. Okay, good. Let's pack that into your body. Just hand tapping across your chest, and then pat yourself on the back, coming down one arm and up, and then tap, and down the other arm, and up, and tap, and down your belly, outsides of your legs coming down, patting it into the insides of your legs, lower back, upper back, back of your neck, top of your head, clap, rub, and come down, and come up and out, and splash. All right, now, are there any questions from either of you or from either of you?
That was glorious.
You know I'm going to have a question.
I do. That's why I always want to try to remember to be sure to open it up. So yes, what is it, Connie?
Does it matter when you're doing, on the crystal generator, first question, does it matter when you're doing the inhale and the exhale?
No. The book is not prescribed for that. Although I do this movement, I usually inhale up, exhale down.
Mm-hmm.
Find your natural breath. I think you'll fall into what's right for you.
Okay, thank you. Second question, when you're feeding the fire, could you just show me the hand movement? I'm trying to figure out if your hand was down at the beginning or if it was always facing forward.
So it comes in less like this. Is that what
okay. Yeah, it wasn't clear from where I was sitting.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, so it's basically gathering the chi, gathering the nourishing chi into your lower abdomen.
So your fingers are really more facing down than facing out.
I don't know what you mean by out. You mean more like
front, yeah. Yeah, they're more facing toward the earth than they are facing horizontally.
No, they're horizontal.
They're horizontal? Okay.
No, they're
okay.
You think of scooping.
Got it.
Scooping.
Got it.
That was helpful because I was thinking the same thing too. I had been thinking it more horizontally, but today it felt like it was more from the bottom. but I was also thinking about what I was bringing forward, which when I felt like I was digging a little bit, that was like all what worked from the past. You know,
No.
Okay.
So we're not working from the past, and we're not digging. Okay. So I realize I'm a little confused. The movement itself is on the side plane. The palm is scooping. So you're scooping from around you. So you're scooping in your willingness to feed yourself well. Roxanne talked about diet. You're scooping in your willingness to really create the kinds of changes. You're scooping in whatever supports you. You're scooping in your conversations with your friends, scooping in hot baths if you like that, or you know, great soup or whatever it is that you're scooping that in. You're doing it from the horizontal plane. So I'm not going down and up here. I'm actually just going out from the side. It's lower than my shoulders. I'm not scooping it in up here. I'm scooping it lower.
Like at hip level, but you're still scooping horizontally.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So I'm glad to get this clarified. Yes, it's important.
Vicki, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Roxanne.
Can you clarify a little bit with the veils piece? I get confused about when you switch your hands from up to down, you know, like one hand's up and one hand's down, and I don't
Got
know.
Yeah. So you start with your palms up, and then when you brush with the right hand, you brush with one hand. As you, let me just keep going. So you're going to just go, and this hand is now down, right? Because you're just taking that clay and you're going, pop, dropping it down into the earth, although we don't do that movement. You're dropping that clay down into the earth, whatever the hiding is, dropping that down into the earth. So now I have one palm up, one palm down. The palm that's up then just sort of gathers the light of the sun, moon, stars, and planets, informs you. And as you're being informed, that back hand turns up. This gets into some fine tuning, which is sometimes a little bit confusing for people. So I'm glad you asked, Roxanne. And so you're going to go ahead and finish that. So now we have the back hand is up, and this hand that we just brushed with is down. You're going to gather the light from the sun, moon, and planets, inform yourself, and as you inform yourself, that back hand opens to the light of the sun. Okay, so then we're just dropping the hiding, dropping the clay into the earth. So one hand's down, one hand's up. Then the up hand comes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and it's so helpful to have the descriptors of what we're doing, you know, like the clay and dropping things and the opening for the light, because it helps me to remember.
Right, so it's not just a physical turn here, turn there. The metaphors actually, I think, are really important. And I think that's literally what you are doing, is doing this intensive cleanse, and you're using the light to do that, right? So it's like taking away, you know, it's like, oh, that's right, I'm a spirit, I'm a earth angel, I'm a child of God, however you want to think of it.
Yes.
That you're taking away anything that is getting projected on you that takes away your divinity, or that you're hiding behind because, you know, of whatever reasons you've had to protect yourself in the past, or whatever the things are that make us put on masks. So yes, so this is dropping it down, gathering the light. So it sounds like you get it, Roxanne. Is that true?
Yes, and I'm really glad it's being recorded, because then I can re-listen to it again.
Yes. Very, very good. Beautiful. Okay.
I'm glad to watch it too, because I was confused about which way your head turned, and I just went with it instead of watching you and figured I'd rewatch it. But it seems to me, as you're clearing the clay, you watch yourself drop it.
Yes, you do, because and the light comes at almost like, it's, you know how you get hit by a bolt of lightning, you know, oh, aha, that's what this is. Okay, taking that, you know, I was like, oh, okay, I'm focusing on what I'm letting go, and like, oh, wait, that's opening up all of these new paths.
Oh, that's great.
Okay,
So I'm probably going to a drumming circle tonight, and with like a guided journey afterward, you know, that's all part of it. I'm wondering if it would be helpful to do this form again before I go, or if should I keep them separate or not do it again because we've done it once?
No, use it for yourself. go ahead and do this. This is one form I would not encourage you to teach at this point. So
Oh, no.
and I know you didn't ask me that. You asked me if you should do it. But I was saying it because this particular form is one that you want to have under your belt pretty well before you share it with people. Normally, I like people to share the Way of Joy practices. I think I want it to spread. But with the crystal generator, there's certain ones that I feel like need to need to be able to contain it really well yourself before you share it, because otherwise the backlash can be intense. So, yes, I would say definitely go for it, Connie. Do it again before drumming circle. I love that because you'll be right. If your drumming circle is this evening, and it's the full moon.
It's at the full moon.
Yeah, so
it's at 7:15, so it's right after the moon comes out.
So powerful. Well, hold me in your heart when you do it, because I
will.
All right. Okay. So, any other questions or comments before we close today? Well, I want to thank Simbala and Rosie for co-demonstrating with me, and for all of you for being here. And I better go answer the phone. Okay. Bye-bye.